I am resident Hollywood for YouTube, Joel Sands. I'm joined by Chloe Thomas. We're here to talk Tim Burton's 2012 Dark Shadows movie starring Johnny Depp, Michelle Pfeiffer, Helen Bonham Carter, Eva Green, Jackie Earle Haley, Bella Heathcote. And by that cast, you would think this would be a great movie. And, and you would be wrong. Um, so first question: when did you first see this movie?
I saw this movie earlier this year for the first time.
Really?
No, wait, not 2025. Sorry, in 2024.
Oh, okay.
I think I saw it over the summer.
And did you wait that long on purpose, or was it just
Um, I remember when it first came out in 2012
okay?
because I remember hearing that the original cast members were going to have a cameo in it.
Mm,
And I just thought to myself back then, there could never be another Jonathan Frid, and there
right.
could never be another Laura Parker or any of the other people.
Mm,
And so I just never really thought about it. But then after I got so into it at the end of 2023, um, with the Facebook pages and all that, I
right.
thought to myself, you know what? Let's watch it because I had read on Laura Parker's blog her thoughts on the film and how she was actually saying that the TV series was one way and the movie was another way, but that doesn't mean it could not be enjoyed.
Right.
And so I thought, let me watch it.
Right.
And there are parts I enjoyed very much, and there were things about the film that I thought were very nice, but it was not my Dark Shadows.
Yeah, right. I think something I've discussed many times before in discussing this movie is none of the movies have ever been canon with the series.
Mm-mm.
They're their own universe, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Now, with this, that when I first saw this, it was actually 2012
Mm-hmm.
when it came out,
Oh, okay.
and I was really I was keeping up to date with everything that was going on, like who was being cast and stuff like that. And until I got so busy, I couldn't keep up with it anymore. And I knew it was going to be coming out and stuff eventually.
Mm-hmm.
I know they hadn't started film; they had just sort of almost begun filming, I think. And somebody said to me, they said, "Hey, did you hear who they cast?" And I said, "No, I did not. I was busy." And a friend of mine said, "They just cast Alice Cooper." And I said, "Really?" And I said, "To play Barnabas's dad?" My That was my sort of, well, that if that's if that's the case, I'm thinking that'd be a good choice because
Mm-hmm.
hey, why not? Um, and they're like, no, no, as himself. And right there, sort of gave
Mm-hmm.
me my first warning sign of, oh shit. Um, because Dark Shadows never really, it never spoofed itself to a degree.
No.
It never like acknowledged to a degree pop culture in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
It acknowledged history,
Yep. Yep.
but I mean, I guess you could, yeah. Do I consider Alice Cooper historic? Hell yeah, he's one of the greatest heavy metal, personalities out there.
Mm-hmm.
Still today, one of the best live performers out there still today. But when I heard that, I wasn't shocked he was cast. I was shocked he was cast as himself.
Yeah. So you're thinking, what's this movie going to be like?
Yeah, that's sort of where I was like, why? I couldn't figure out why they would do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I knew Johnny Depp knew Alice Cooper, but past that, you know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Because I had read many times because Alice Cooper and Johnny Depp, for those who don't know, um, they play guitar together.
Yeah, they're
You
in
know,
a band.
yeah, they're in a band.
Yep.
So I mean, I knew that well going into the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Um, But yeah, that was sort of my first like red flag. And again, because not he was cast because of who he was playing himself.
Hmm.
Thinking I would never cast Alice to play himself.
Right,
But
right.
but all the other ones that I knew were going to be in, I was excited because I was a huge Evergreen at that time was one of my was because I had watched all the James Bond movies at the time. Evergreen was one of my favorite Bond girls. She's a very beautiful woman.
Hmm.
Um, and I thought, well, her as Angelique will be very interesting.
Although typically she is, I think she's a brunette normally, right?
Normally, yeah, but she's
Yeah,
playing blonde here, and it's
right, right.
I'm like that's really interesting.
Mm.
But she looked great as a blonde, and so
Yes,
and she
she
looked
did.
very beautiful.
Yes, she
Um,
did. I agree.
Evergreen has been in some bad movies. If you ever read her film discography, yeah, she's been in some shit films.
Yeah. She was in a TV series though, a British TV series with oh my God, Timothy Dalton. I can't remember what it's called.
hmm,
Oh, I can't remember, but
I know she had just, I know she had just did the Three Musketeers, or the, but I don't know if that was a TV series.
no, there was some TV series and I can't think of the name of it.
Okay,
I want to say Pandora's Box, but I don't think that's it.
right,
But no, I like her. She's one of
yeah.
the few people that I liked in the film.
What did you think of all the sets we got in this?
The sets in the movie,
Yeah,
they were beautiful. They
I
were stunning. I think it if I had just seen the sets and not known how they were going to portray the story, I would have had good vibes
yeah,
just from the sets. And even in the beginning, when you see that train and the credits of the actors and the music, they're playing the Moody Blues Nights in White Satin, which is a
yeah,
beautiful song
yeah,
and is so fitting for Barnabas. Um, the musical score of that movie I love.
yeah,
And I mean, it was all popular music, but I love the musical score. And the sets were just magnificent.
yeah. I think the sets look amazing. I like how they made because you always know Collinsport has been this fishing village.
Correct.
And that's something they do with the past scenes. You see this beautiful set design
Mm-hmm.
of a fishing village, and I think they even shot some shots for the coast. But they did a beautiful job of filming that and making it look so great,
Mm-hmm.
making the past come to life. And I really love the Widow's Hill design they did. The
Mm-hmm.
when Barnabas is at beneath Widow's Hill, that set there. It's
Yes.
dark. It's dark. It's moody. It's right.
Right. It's
Um,
foggy.
yeah, it's really well done.
It is.
I give Tim Burton, I give the devil his due on that. The
Mm-hmm.
sets, I agree with you 1000%. When I
Beautiful.
go back and watch this film, and I watched it today, when I
Oh,
got
did
home,
you?
I watched.
Okay.
I own all three movies, so when I got home today, because I was gone most of the day,
Uh-huh.
so when I got home today, I watched it, and I'm like, okay, the sets, even today, like it's 2025, those sets still pop. They
They
look
do.
they look great, and even the
Mhm.
house as a set, man, does it look good.
It does.
It really stands out. It looks like Hollywood,
Mm-hmm.
inside and out. The sets look good, and the town itself, even in the 70s, looks like a 70s fishing village.
Yes.
It, again, I will give the set. Cy Thomasoff would shed tears of joy
Mm-hmm.
if he saw this,
Mm-hmm.
because it looks, from a look standpoint, it looks fabulous.
Yeah.
Um, Again, we're not going to love the story, but and there's some to
No.
get into,
But I
but
was surprised there was no old house in the film. It was just Collinwood.
yeah, I think that's the one thing too that again, like when we look at movies like House. Like House even had an old house.
Mm-hmm.
House of Dark Shadows for those who don't.
Right.
But you're right. They don't do an old house here. They
Mm-hmm.
just do one home, and I think from a film standpoint, it makes sense because again, you're not cursing Barnabas the same way you did in the series. You know, you're not having this long drawn out storyline of
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
a marriage with because there's no Jeremiah.
No.
You know, there's no Reverend Trask.
No.
There's no witch trials.
No.
Um, this is not 1795 storyline. You know,
Right.
I think if they had done that, sure, there probably would have been. And there's no Sarah Collins. You know, there's no Barnabas doesn't have a sister in this.
No.
Um, which again, that'd been interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't do that route. They go a completely different route. I do think they get into the ideology of witchcraft here, though, by
Yes.
having her sort of, in my opinion, use a spell,
Mm-hmm.
which I like what they did there because they didn't. It wasn't just a bat crashing through the window. That's the one. I will give them credit here that for all the things I dislike, the some of the different decisions they made, I could go, okay, I could get behind that. Like I could see why they went this route because she's a witch, she's using a spell, she's using a feather, water, you know,
Mm-hmm.
something of his to curse him. You know, it made sense.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think?
Um, well, I actually like the bat coming in the window. I really enjoyed that. I figured maybe she was too weak to do a better curse because she had just been shot by her husband. So, you know, so, but no, 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 I like that. I The thing that I thought was weird is when she marched through the town with the
Yeah,
townspeople, and then they buried the coffin underground.
yeah. That's sort of where
It's
some of the
kind of strange.
it it feels rushed.
Yeah, yeah,
It it because it comes out of nowhere.
yeah.
It's like okay, they say attacks have been happening,
Hmm.
and she goes, oh, that's the monster right there, but
Right.
there's no proof of him being a monster other than
No,
they just grab him and they listen to her. It's like okay, why do they listen to her?
I know she was a servant girl. Why?
Right, like her,
Exactly.
it, it's that's where the story sort of like you're sort of like confusing the audience because it's like okay, there's no reason to listen to this woman. You know,
Right. Hmm.
and I'm not just saying that because she's a woman. There's just no reason to listen.
No,
It'd be,
right. No,
it'd be
you're
the
right.
same thing if it were a man. Like there'd be no
Right.
reason if it were a man who was a servant, there'd be no reason to listen to him.
Right.
Um, I mean, Barnabas's parents die. I mean, I
Well,
like how yeah.
didn't she have a boulder come off the roof and crush them?
It was one of the like pieces of the house, I think.
Yeah, 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 like a lion sculpture or something, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that
yep, yep,
fell. That she cracked it, and she had like a piece in her hand or
yeah.
something because she made a piece that
Hmm.
copied it. And again, I think that's sort of a touch. I do think that's a bit of a nod to the original DS because when you get into the voodoo dolphin, in a sense,
Yeah,
but
but the Angelique, my Angelique,
right,
we
right,
didn't really kill
yeah,
anybody.
yeah.
And I hate when the people always say she did this. No, she didn't. She cast a spell, and everything else was a trickle down effect.
and her
People made those decisions.
and her husband was a poor shot with a pistol.
Yes, he
Uh,
was.
uh, that man could not shoot a flintlock at a woman to save his life. And remember that, kids.
Yeah.
Remember it well. Um, this is what happens when you marry a witch and you're a poor shot with a flintlock that holds one bullet.
Right.
Now he aiming for the head? Well, he got the shoulder. Let's put it that way. He's no Solomon Kane. We'll say
Nope.
that.
Nope. Nope.
Um, though he would, I always joke. I always say, listen, if that was Solomon Kane holding that pistol, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now.
But
Because
she
he,
was a witch, so I don't know if a bullet would have killed her. She had recuperative powers.
well, she says she thinks it would. So I mean,
Yeah, that's true.
she's under the mindset you shot me, and that's what
Right.
she lays the curse. She thinks she's dying.
That's
And
true.
I'm thinking, man, all you did was piss this woman off.
Mhm.
But I do think it again. Movies are going to be different than series. You and I both know that.
Of course.
I agree with you about the train too. The train sequence, Nights in White Satin, really good mood setting.
Yes.
Even though they rushed like the end of the past scene,
Yeah.
it was a pretty. Other than that, the transition to the present was pretty decent.
Hmm.
Because you have the mood setting. Okay, here's this woman. Who is she? Is she Victoria Winters? And she goes, "My name is Maggie." She stops. She looks. Victoria Winters. I'm thinking, oh shit.
Right.
So this woman has a secret.
Hmm.
Like, because, okay, she says she's Maggie. We know Maggie Evans.
Right.
I do like the fact that they made her be able to talk to ghosts
Hmm.
or at least see them. I
Hmm.
wish they'd have got into it a lot more with this movie. What are your thoughts?
I didn't like her.
Really?
Not at all. No. Nah. I thought she looked like a 14-year-old.
Okay.
I just thought, are you serious?
She looks young.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't really care for the character of Maggie Evans.
Right.
Uh-oh, I'm gonna get shot later. But I don't. I
Right.
liked Victoria Winters better.
Right.
Um she did nah. Did do nothing for me.
See, I did. I liked her. I liked the fact that they let her see ghosts. Her
Yeah, I
parents,
like that. Yep, yep,
like, I
yep, yep.
liked that her parents locked her up for it, put her in a mental institution.
Hmm.
Um, they told us enough of a backstory to make us care about her. But I think where they lack their story is she's not actually speaking enough with the ghost.
Hmm.
That she's not. To me, there should have been words coming out like when nobody's looking. Like, okay, what do you want from me?
Hmm.
That's something I feel should have been done more in the movie of way of, and maybe some of them warn her about Angelique.
Hmm.
But they don't do that. I do feel that's where they hurt the character most. Other than she disappears for half the fucking movie.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
oh my god, I'm sorry.
That's
Um,
okay.
that's not the good. That's not John Philip Betancourt. Shout out to him. He and I talk about this often. How do you take a character who's been in the movie and you basically make them disappear for the rest of the movie? For a good half of the movie, the final sequence.
She wasn't that compelling anyway. I don't think we missed much. I'm sorry, I'm just saying. She
what
was
did
not any interest to me.
what did you think of Johnny Depp's Barnabas here?
Well, let me preface this by saying that I like Johnny Depp. I think he
Yes,
is an excellent actor. The Ninth Gate, The Secret
yeah,
Window, um, and of course Captain Jack Sparrow.
yeah,
He is a talent beyond belief. I don't like all of his movies, but I do
right,
like him very much.
yeah,
When he's dressed as himself, usually he's an attractive man.
yeah,
But as Barnabas, no,
yeah,
no, no, no. He reminded me of his character Edward Scissorhands as
yeah,
Barnabas. I just when I heard that Johnny Depp was going to play Barnabas Collins, and this was back in 2012 or 11, I thought, well, I like Johnny Depp, but oh, come on, that's a big coffin to fill. I
yeah,
mean, he's not. There's no way he's Jonathan Frid, and y when you're remaking a movie, you're not looking to replace the same actor, but there's just a certain idea of for all of us of how Barnabas is. And to me, Johnny Depp could not do it.
Yeah.
Or maybe in the way that he did it, it was such a disappointment. Maybe he could have been more like the Barnabas that we all know. I don't know. We didn't get to see that. This was a almost a cartoon of Barnabas.
I think for Jonathan Fritz Barnabas, Ben Cross, Johnny Depp's, you get again because even Fred played a different version of Barnabas in the House of the in House, to
Yeah, and he didn't like it.
right, right. So people always said, "Who started this?" Different Barnabas. I said, "Well, really." I said, two people, if you want to be, technical about it, Dan Curtis and Jonathan. I mean, he didn't
Mhm.
like it. You're right, but for Johnny Depp, to me, his Barnabas at least is he's not Jonathan Fritz or really Ben Cross's Barnabas. He's very well, though Ben Cross's Barnabas is honest to a degree. He's direct, but Johnny Depp's Barnabas is honest to a fault. He literally he tells Elizabeth, "Oh, we'll keep a secret," but he can't keep a secret to save his life.
He's like a child.
He says, "Oh, if this were real steel, my hand would explode."
Yeah.
I mean, he has no problem telling if you were to go up to his Barnabas and say, "Hey, are you a vampire?" He'd be like, "Oh, of course."
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
he really would.
Yeah.
But and though I that's one thing I appreciate about his character most. He's honest.
Yeah.
It's like, and I'll say that too. Like he tells Angelique, "If I told you I love you, that would be a lie."
Mm-hmm.
So that's sort of where you like his honesty. It's like, okay, I get where they're going with the character. He's honest
Mm-hmm.
and honest to a fault.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think they not only blur the line, they cross it with there's a difference between honesty and being and stupidity with it. There really is, and
Yes.
they
He kind
cross
of.
it. They cross it a little too much with him.
Mm-hmm. He was very
Um,
childlike, I thought.
he it's there's moments he's being serious and he's yelling, and it's like, what are you yelling about? There's two
Mhm.
people in the room. It's in the room. You don't need to be that serious about it. And he sleeps with Angelique. We get a sex scene in this.
Now that's one of the parts I thought was hysterical. I thought the flying sex, the defying gravity sex, that
Yeah,
was hysterical.
it looked like they had fun.
It is, but I don't know why she would even been attracted to this Barnabas.
Yeah, I
Now,
think it.
go
Yeah,
on. I'm sorry.
no, no. Eva Green is absolutely stunning as Angelique. I mean,
Well, I don't think she's as beautiful as Laura.
right,
I don't, but
right.
she's quite sexy.
Yes,
And the party scene where she comes in that red sequin dress, she
yeah,
looks real good.
yes,
Yeah, I mean, she looked good throughout the whole movie. I liked her very much.
yeah,
For me, other than the sets, as far as the actors in the film, she was my favorite one to watch.
yeah. I her and Michelle Pfeiffer do a really good job as their character.
Michelle Pfeiffer, I loved her.
Yeah, I think she did a really good job being Elizabeth in this movie.
Way
'Cause
better than the original.
right, she was trying to protect secrets. Her
Yes,
character was,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it was hard to keep them because again, Barnabas is honest, and she's like, "He's a vampire," Dr. Julie
Hmm.
Hoffman. I did not like Hella Bonham Carter uh, in this movie. I thought she phoned it in a little much.
Phoned it in. What do you
Yeah,
mean? You thought she just?
yeah. I just think she was there for the paycheck, and
Oh, possibly.
I just again, I get. I'm the first person to say, "Hey, it's a movie. It's different from the series," but
Hmm.
I think there's not enough there's not enough difference in her character to me that separates her from anything that's been done.
Hmm.
And though
Well,
she
what about the blowjob?
Well, there's that, but I mean, by the time that's done in the movie, I mean, aren't you sort of expecting something like that? I mean,
Well, I
really?
would have never expected that in the series, although I'm sure Julia
No,
Hoffman wanted to do that.
no, not
But
in the series, but with within the frame of this movie, it's like so many things are happening that, from a tension standpoint,
oh yes, yeah.
you know what I mean. You're almost expecting sex scenes.
Hmm.
Like there's a lot of characters. I will give it this. There's a lot of tension, sexual tension between certain characters, like Angelique, Barnabas, even Carolyn, who's like what 15, supposed to be
And,
15.
and and she's a werewolf.
Yeah, she's a
Yeah,
werewolf. Yeah, she's a werewolf. A wolf bit her in her crib, though we never see it.
yeah,
Um,
right, right.
it's like okay, I guess I buy it, but I'd have been nice to see, you know.
Hmm.
Um, then Angel, ghosts appear. David's mother appears. No, she's not a phoenix. She's a ghost.
Hmm.
Um, what did you start jumping around? What did you think of Helen Bohem Carter's Dr. Julia Hoffman?
Okay, I'm going to get crucified
Okay, go ahead.
again. I like her better than I like Grayson Hall. Uh,
Okay.
I like Helen Bonham Carter. I think she's a very good actress. I enjoy her very much. It was curious to me why she made her kind of an alcoholic. She drank a lot.
Yeah.
And that was so, although Julia always did like a brandy, but she
Yeah.
was never drunk.
I think
Um,
that's the thing too. Like you're sort of waiting for Roger to drink all the brandy, and then
yeah,
now they make
that
her.
was Johnny Lee Miller, right?
Yeah, Johnny Lee Miller.
I like Johnny Lee Miller. That TV show Elementary, very good.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
ever see him in Dracula 2000?
No.
He's really good in that.
Does he play Dracula?
No, he does not. He plays
Oh.
one of the vampire hunters in it.
Oh,
He
okay.
he's very young. I mean, he's the guy. I'm trying to think of the guy who plays Dracula. Oh my God, Gerard Butler plays Dracula.
Oh, Gerard Butler.
A
Ooh.
very young, a very young Gerard Butler.
Gerard Butler also played Phantom of the Opera on Broadway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh. Oh no,
So
or was it the movie? Maybe both.
um, it may be been both,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, Phantom of the Opera is one of the most underrated Universal monsters.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I don't know. Great play, by the way, if you've ever seen it live.
I
Great.
have. I love
Yeah.
Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah, when I was a teenager, I saw it. Very, very, very good.
If
Um,
I don't know if Jonathan Frid sang, he had a gorgeous voice speaking, but I think he would have been a wonderful Phantom of
yeah,
the Opera.
yeah. He'd have been. I said this, asked this to Will and Nancy. Like, did Jonathan ever think about going into radio? Because he had a great voice.
Oh, fabulous.
And they said no. He never talked about going into radio.
You know,
That's
he did go to Lauren Green's radio announcing class, though, in Canada.
cool, cool.
Yeah, yep.
Uh, but it's really cool that I like that you like Dr. Hoffman because I don't. I don't like Helen Bonham Carter, but that's cool. You do. I do like Johnny Miller. Johnny Lee Miller is a great actor.
He is.
I do feel his Roger Collins is wasted in this movie at times.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Um, I like Johnny Lee Miller very much, but
Yes,
he does
good
not.
actor.
He does not compare with Louis Edmonds, Roger Miller, Roger Miller, Roger Collins.
Roger
I mean,
Collins.
yeah, Louis Edmonds was. I mean, he was just so, I don't know, haughty and upper class and um, condescending. I really liked Louis Edmonds. I loved him,
What's
and I
crazy is, oh, sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
oh I just that Johnny Miller's Roger was a bit sleazy.
Yeah,
Not that Edmonds wasn't sleazy sometimes, but
right,
not like this one.
right. There's levels of sleaze that he
Yeah,
goes through that, you know, our Roger wouldn't have went to probably.
right, right.
Which again, it's a movie. It's different. It's different character. Same name, different character.
Yeah.
They get the look right to for the outfit and stuff and the hair.
Oh, for sure.
The prop department did good, but they should have let Lee Miller write this character or do whatever he wanted with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think they would have got way more because he's too talented of an actor to waste.
Yeah, he
Um,
is very good.
I mean, I generally liked anything he was in, and then he does this. I'm like, what the hell are they doing with Johnny Lee Miller?
Mm-hmm.
um,
Right, right.
but I I think from a look standpoint, he has the role. I
Mm-hmm.
There's times he does it. He takes a good tone, but it's like, oh, they talk about having a ball. It's like it's about time we have some ball. We have some real balls. And it's like,
Yeah, I know.
what are you talking about?
Right, right.
That's sort of another thing too. It's like some of the characters are unaware of the conversations that are literally happening.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, wait, aren't you paying attention to the conversation that your that is literally going on right at
Mm-hmm.
the table you're sitting at?
Right.
Um, that's one thing that I scratch my head about with the movie most. It's like some of the characters, like, okay, Barnabas is aware of the silverware, and he says
Yes.
about, like I said, he says about, my hand would explode, and then they're just looking at him like, wait, what? And then when they say about the ball, Johnny Lee Miller's like, oh, about time we have some balls, and it's like you clearly had to hear what they were saying. Like,
Right, right.
how did you mishear that? Like,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I wish they would have done more with the character because when he leaves, there's no stakes. There's no reason for you to care for him to leave. It's like
Right.
it's like, okay, you sort of accept it because it's like the character's been pointless anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I sort of wish, in a lot of ways, that it made Roger more of a heel in this movie.
It
That
did.
they make him a bit of a heel, but they don't make him a threatening heel.
No, 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 no.
And I wish they would have, to a degree, where maybe the reason Liz doesn't fight back is because maybe he's blackmailing her. I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't ever explore that angle. They don't. There's a lot of that's a thing. Excuse me, sorry, but there's a lot of meat on the bone for these characters, and they don't do any of it. I love Elizabeth the most out of all of them, really, because
Michelle Pfeiffer's character?
yeah, I think
Yeah.
she does a phenomenal job.
She does. I like Michelle Pfeiffer anyway, but
Yeah,
yes,
when
I
she
think,
says, "This is my house, get out," I think
and then she
it's
comes down the stairs with the gun.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah, I thought this was a way better Elizabeth Stoddard Collins Stott, whatever, than the TV series one.
yeah. She does it again. She's doing something very different.
Mm-hmm.
She's in a lot of ways she's standing up for her family in every way.
Right.
And you
Not a
do
recluse or anything like that.
right. You do see Liz stand up for her family in the
Mm-hmm.
series, but not quite like this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's done really, really well. I think there's hit and miss in this movie. That's what's crazy about it. It's like for every. How did you feel about? It feels like every time they're going down a serious road, they sort of pull it back with like slapstick or a silly line. What do you think of that?
I think I read this somewhere on one of the pages that it was supposed to be made serious, but the producer, I can't remember if it was
The
Zanuck,
Xanax, yeah,
Zanuck, he's the one who wanted to turn it into a farce.
yeah.
And he thought it would make more money that way. And I'm not even sure. Did the film make money?
It made money, but not
I mean, it wasn't a box office hit,
no,
I
it
don't
was
think.
no,
Yeah.
it wasn't.
But like I said, the best things about the movie for me were the sets. I like the music, Ava Green,
Yeah,
Michelle Pfeiffer. I like the little boy. I
yeah,
like,
David.
and I liked the one who played Carolyn. I love when she was dancing to the season of the witch. That was hysterical. I love that. Oh, and you know what else I liked? I liked when I'm trying to remember because I haven't seen it in a couple months. I've watched it twice. Um, but when I think Johnny Depp takes Michelle Pfeiffer downstairs, I don't know, there's like something that by the fireplace, I think, and it parts ways, and there's where all the jewels are and all
Yeah,
the gold and whatever else. I
yeah,
thought, oh, that would be so cool.
yeah.
And then they reopen Collins Canning, and they compete with Angie Baby or whatever it's called.
Angel Bay. Yeah,
Angel Bay, that's it.
yeah. I like how that when they're going down the corridor, a rat runs by Michelle Pfeiffer's, and she's like, "Oh shit." She's scared by the rat. Yeah,
Hmm.
you're walking down the corridor with a vampire. You're scared by the rat. It's funny, but you get it.
Right.
That's the one joke I think is the most funny. It's like, okay, I get that, like, because
Hmm.
again, she never knew about the secret passages and stuff.
Right.
They
Right.
didn't know they were sitting on top of a fortune this whole time. I mean,
Right.
it's one of the best movie moments in the movie. I'll tell you who I love really a lot in this movie, and he's not in it enough, is Jack Earl Haley's Willie Loomis.
I
He's a hoot. He's a hoot.
yeah, he is funny. He's I saw him in another movie. Oh God, it was with Kate Winslet. He played a sexual predator.
Yeah.
I can't remember, but he's a good actor.
Yeah, he is. He is. He actually played Freddy Krueger in the Nightmare on Elm Street remake.
Oh
Uh,
really? I didn't know that.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
did a good job. Um, but he's funny here because him and Barnabas go to toss Julie in the ocean, and Barnabas is like, "You tell one, so I'll kill you." He goes, "No, it's okay, Barnabas. I didn't like the bitch anyway." And I howled. That was such a great line.
Hmm.
Like,
What did you think of Barnabas um sleeping upside down like a bat, and then he was inside of like a shelf, and do you remember all that?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
I
thought
mean,
it was
you're
kind of silly.
it basically it remind. I'll tell you what it reminded me of. It reminded me of all the when you go back and you watch Abbott and Costello meet Dracula,
Yep.
and they're in the like the baggage claim.
Yep.
They're going through the baggages. It
Yep.
sort of reminds me of all that because
Yeah.
Barnabas is trying all these different things to
Hmm.
get comfortable.
Yeah.
And Abbott and Costello are going through the baggage luggage, trying to figure out what's what. And there's Dracula. It's like
Right.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But again, comedy is subjective, though I don't think there's anything really too funny in this movie.
No.
It's because comedy is all about timing,
Yeah.
and the timing in this movie is just horrible. A lot of it. Some of it's good. There's
Hmm.
moments where they are funny, like
Hmm.
like I said, Jack Earl Haley. And to me, one of the most funniest scenes I laughed at is Barnabas and the hippies. It's
Yeah.
like, it, even though it's meant for horror, it's like that's actually funny because he's talking to them all calm. And he's like, "Oh, I'm afraid I have to kill you all now." Like, oh shit.
And they look at him like, "Are you nuts?"
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's funny. That's one of the best timing jokes you have,
Hmm.
and it should be. You should have way more funny jokes. I think I'll tell you who's funny. Where the Angelique's character does good comedy here,
Yep.
playing the piano with her butt.
Yep. Yep. I was
Um,
just thinking about that.
yeah.
Yep.
What did you think of her?
I thought she was she to me,
Yeah,
and it's not just because I love the character of Angelique, because she's a
right.
very different Angelique than Laura,
Yeah,
but she was good.
yeah,
She was good. To me, she was the most enjoyable part of the movie.
yeah,
Um I liked when she threw had her guys throw him back in the coffin and
yeah,
throw her red panties at him, and
yeah,
I thought that's just what he deserved. And I liked her very much. I really did. If I watch it again, it would be just to see her and to listen to the music and see the scenery.
yeah.
Those three things were the best part of the film for me.
I think too, her timing is so good in
Hmm.
this. Like Evergreen's timing is really what it's good going off of Johnny Depp's Barnabas. Like she when he brings up how many years he spent in a coffin, she corrects him. Oh, it's only been this many years. Get over it.
Hmm.
And you're sort of with her. It's like really the worst thing she's done is murder his parents. And it's like really weren't they old anyway? I mean, like see, see, like that's funny. Like, yeah, weren't they old
Yeah.
anyway? I mean, who cares? Um,
I don't
but
think that this Barnabas and Angelique
yeah,
had the same type of chemistry. That
no,
not at all. I
no.
could not understand why movie Angelique was even attracted to this Barnabas. She could have done a whole lot better.
Yeah. I, in a weird way, anytime I go back and watch this movie, I try to find something different. And when I watched it again today, I think the one thing I noticed is Angelique wants things that are sort of forbidden from her because her mother's, which is supposed to be, which is Evergreen, obviously doing a voiceover,
Right.
saying, no, that's not your place.
Right.
And then she pursues him. It's like, well, is she honestly in love with him, or is she just wanting him because it's something she couldn't have? And there is sort of that tone in the movie, but they don't play enough of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't go all in on it. I
You know what
wish.
else?
Good, sorry.
Oh, that no, no, that's okay. I'm sorry. In the beginning of the movie,
Yeah,
when it's set back in, I guess it must be the 1790s or whatever, the
yeah,
Schooners and the two little children, one is Angelique, one is Barnabas, and they look at each other. And
yeah,
do you remember that? Well, you just
yeah.
saw it today. And the Schooners and the fog, I thought that was so beautiful and so well done. And you could see right then the two little children liked each other.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, it's one if they build a relationship off of that. If they would
Hmm.
have done that, that'd have been different. But
Hmm.
by the time they time jump it a bit,
Right.
and he's like a teenager or whatever he is, and or like having sex, she's like, "Tell me you love me." He's like, "If I told you that, that would be a lie," you know. And
Right.
it's like, okay, like I appreciate your honesty or your telling, but it's like you're having sex with this woman too.
Right. Right.
Like, I mean, yeah, there's natural attraction, sure, and that's sort of what's going on with Barnabas. Barnabas is attracted to
Hmm.
her, and it's like so he did want her. Okay, we're sort of playing off the series that Barnabas has always wanted Angelique.
Hmm.
But I think again, if to me you would have had to have watched the series to have gotten that.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
like if not meaning like you or me or normal fans, but people who have not ever watched the series, when they're watching that scene, are they getting that? You
Right.
know what I mean?
Right.
That's something I was really concerned about when I was watching it in theaters. I'm thinking, how many people sitting in this theater with me
Right.
have seen the original DS in its run, like
Right.
not in just its original run, but in syndication or reruns.
Correct.
Because I know I did, but I can't speak for everyone else here.
Hmm.
And I saw a lot of young people in the theater. I'm thinking probably not a lot of people
No.
got that. You know what I
No.
mean?
Right.
And that's what's weird. It's like it felt at times with this movie like they were kind of placating to some of the things in the series, but it's like okay, if you were gonna do that, why not go all the way with it and tell a more serious story
Hmm.
and not do all this sort of slapstick comedy stuff?
Right.
It
You
wasn't
did
funny.
go on. I'm sorry.
No, it just wasn't funny. Go ahead. I'm
No.
sorry.
Um, you did you did notice that there was some stealing of dialogue from the series to the movie. For example, when Barnabas, both in the series and in the movie, meets Victoria Winters. Oh, I wouldn't surrender a single syllable
Yeah,
of that. Yeah, because
yeah,
Jonathan Frid clearly said that to Victoria when he first met her. And then also when Angelique dies with the chandelier, which was odd, but a lot of after Angelique is shot in the series, Barnabas says, "So this is how it ends," and
Yeah,
Johnny Depp does the same thing, only he doesn't do the same soliloquy that Frid did. Um,
yeah,
I thought the thing with her heart taking it out was kind of silly to me.
yeah. That's the thing too. It's like there's at that moment,
Goofy.
it's like they're placating to the original series because it's like, okay, if that were our Angelique, if our Angelique had reached into her chest and handed Jonathan Fred hit her heart, we'd have got that.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this here, it doesn't fit. It
Right.
just like, okay, I get she was attracted to him, she was in love with him. I get all that, but it's like
Yeah.
if she's willing to literally destroy his family because he doesn't love her, then just get it over with.
Right. But he
It's like,
says to her, oh, he says to her, I might have loved you. I'm like, what's that about? Get
yeah.
out of here. Go jump off the cliff with Maggie, Victoria, or whoever the hell she is.
And when
Just
he says it,
go.
it's when he says it too. It's like,
Yeah, I
really?
might have loved you. Oh, get the hell out of here.
Like you just you told this woman you didn't love her, and then now you're saying I might have loved you. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, right, right.
Where is it? Sort of feels like that's the one thing I went. I don't believe him right there.
Yeah.
Like why? It felt like they were trying to change the character, but then they go away from it so easily. It
The only
it,
thing I
it
thought the reason they did that was because throughout the series,
right,
Frid is always, or Barnabas is always saying he didn't love her, blah, 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 blah. And then at the end, I've always loved,
yeah,
whatever, which is how it should have ended. And I'm glad it did. But,
yeah,
but in the movie, it just doesn't work out. But this is the question I've been wanting to ask you. What
sure.
did you think when the four actors from the series came to the party? What did you think of that?
I was delighted to see them, obviously, in the movie. I wish they had a little more scenes.
I agree.
They were older, you know. Jonathan was in his 80s. He was not in good health. I mean,
Not
I
at all.
understand why he wasn't shown a lot. Um, you know, because I didn't know he was in bad health at the time, obviously.
No, no.
But but when I had learned he was, you know, and he passed not long
Yep.
after this,
Yep.
um, yeah, it was nice to see David Selby, Laura Parker, you know, Catherine Lee Scott. It was nice to see them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, do I wish other actors would have appeared in the movie? Sure, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, because again, they could have got. Um, to me, they could have got Jerry Lacey in here. They could have got.
Yeah, yeah, Jerry Lacey for sure.
Yeah, yeah. They could have got John Carlin. He was still around at the
Yep,
time.
yep, Carolyn. Carolyn.
Yep, Carolyn. They could have got a lot
There.
of people in this movie, and they
Yep.
didn't.
Yeah, like
Um,
even for like little cameos.
yeah,
That would have been good.
yeah. I I would have loved for Carolyn to sit next to Carolyn and go, "You're a what now?" Like she gets told about it.
Let me show you my picture of Buzz.
Yeah, yeah. She goes, "Hey, you see this guy in this leather jacket? His name was Buzz. I used to date him. He rode a motorcycle." That would have been funny.
Yep, yep,
That there would have been hilarious.
yep, yep.
Um, or Jerry Lacey dressing as a priest go, I always knew they're a bunch of devil worshippers, you know,
Yep.
that would have been stuff like that would have been
It
hilarious.
would have been.
But like the original cast sort of spoofing it would have been funny.
Yes, I agree with
Like,
that.
like Laura Parker could have said, yeah, I practiced witchcraft for years and years ago after this guy, and he just kept throwing him away for some bitch who threw herself over the hill.
Yeah, right, right,
You know,
right.
like that to me would be funny because like it's from the series, you know, it's a
They could
nod
have had
to
Catherine Lee Scott in a diner serving coffee.
it. She have her be like the waitress of the party or whatever,
Right, right,
like handing out cocktails or something.
right.
you know. But yeah, they could have did a lot of fun things with the original cast in this movie and
Hmm.
don't. But it was for what it was for the moment they got to be on screen. It was nice to see them because every time I watch this, when I watch it, I go, it was really nice to see them. Get to see the movie. You know what I mean? Get the
I thought it
experience.
was, I thought that it was heartbreaking to see
Yeah,
Jonathan.
yeah,
And I know he was ill.
yeah.
And I mean, of course, not at the time, but I
Right.
mean, I've read the things afterwards. Um, but it was, aging is not fun for anybody most of the
Right.
time, you know.
Right.
And it was sad to see him, but
Yeah.
I was glad he was there.
Yeah. I. That's the thing too. Like, I do wish they would have got to have a lot more fun with it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Fun in the movie. Um,
Mhm.
and we would have got to see a little more of the original DS cast. We didn't, but for who we got to see Jonathan, Laura, David,
Mhm.
you know,
And
Catherine. I mean, it was
I
nice
like,
to see them.
yeah, it was. I like that Johnny Depp, according to what I've read,
Yeah.
that when they went to the set at Pinewood Studios and they saw that, Johnny Depp said to Jonathan, "If it weren't for you, none of this would be possible." And
Yeah.
that is so true.
Yeah.
If they had never brought him on as Barnabas, that show would have gone.
Yeah.
And he was, I mean, I know it was a like a company of actors and
Right.
the writers, and of course Dan Curtis's idea. But if
Yeah.
it wasn't for Jonathan, that series would have folded.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. I mean, they were coming off the Phoenix storyline. They were hurting in the ratings,
Hmm.
and
And I
yeah.
don't think he got the credit he deserved.
Again, I think Jonathan and the writers they changed history. I mean, in a lot of ways. I mean, some I know there was. I think there was one sympathetic vampire before Barnabas. I forget who it was.
Who the hell was it?
I forget, but he was to me. If it weren't for Jonathan's Barnabas, you probably wouldn't see a lot of sympathetic
No,
vampires.
he was the
Um,
best vampire I have ever seen. And that,
yeah,
I thought about that even when I was a kid. I thought
yeah,
and I've always liked vampires. I always liked Dracula movies, always
yeah,
have.
yeah,
But his was the best.
yeah. What's your favorite vampire movie? You got one?
Oh God, I've seen them all. I do like Bela Lugosi's Dracula, even though I mean, I don't find Bela Lugosi attractive or anything like
Right.
that, but I do like those. Um, I like, I would have to say the one with Frank Langella.
Yeah,
He and and I also like the Gary Oldman movie. I
yeah,
like Gary Oldman. He's a really good actor, but I don't find him sexy like I like a vampire to be. Like Jonathan was sexy, Frank Langella sexy.
yeah.
Um, but I think Frank Langella, he's probably my favorite. Well, not counting Jonathan from House of Dark Shadows,
Right.
but other
Right.
than Jonathan, I think Frank Langella was really really good. But there's a new one coming out with Keanu Reeves sometime this year. Did you see that?
A new Dracula?
Yes.
Oh no, I did not.
He
I
and he's a vampire, but he wants to become human. I thought that's going to be good.
We'll see. We'll see. I'll watch it. I watched Nosferatu. It was really good.
Me too. I saw that last weekend. You liked it?
Yes, really, really good.
I like the gothic. I like the way it was filmed.
Yep.
And that was Johnny Depp's daughter.
Yeah, Lily Rose Depp. Yeah.
Yep, yep. It
Mm.
was it was interesting.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Um, my favorite vampire movie is from 1933, Vampire. It's very different.
What's it
It's
called?
Vampire. It's not in English. You got to watch the subtitles. You got to read the subtitles, I should say.
Is it
Very,
German?
very European movie.
Okay.
It's very old, and the way they do it, stylistic. Is the story the best thing on earth? No, but man, it's a beautiful film to watch. Um,
Oh, okay. Where do you watch it at?
I recorded it on PCM. I'll watch it there, but I'm gonna buy the Criterion collection here soon.
Mm.
Great movie, fun movie. Um, I, I think Bela Lugosi, because he had admitted this, he had played Dracula on stage before he ever played it in the film.
Mm-hmm.
He did, and I know the director gets a lot of credit, but to me, the person who deserves the most credit is Bela Lugosi.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, he was poor. He was hurting for money and stuff when he was doing Dracula and stuff. He wasn't making a lot of money, and he became a household name with Dracula. He made, to me, Bela Lugosi made Dracula what he was
Yeah.
in every way. Just phenomenal, phenomenal performance he gave. Um, I think a lot of actors need to study Bela Lugosi, but he did. Um, yeah, this movie, yeah, Johnny Depp's Barnabas is again a very, very different cat, for sure. It- what did you think of all the effects we got in this movie?
Oh, they were good. You
Yeah,
know, I especially like the that chandelier and how it busts all over, and how
yeah,
those sculptures inside of Collinwood come to life. I
yeah,
like that. Um, of course, the sex defying gravity. What am I thinking? The defying gravity sex scenes. That was pretty. I don't know how they did that, but that was interesting. I enjoyed that. Um,
yeah, yeah. That's funny. Me and my wife first watched this movie in theater. She goes, there's no way we're doing that, right? I'm like, yeah, no shit. I'm like, I can't defy gravity. I mean,
yeah,
Jesus
right.
Christ. But yeah, I agree with you. The effects in this movie are very good. Um,
Hmm.
the, the paintings coming to life. I
Yep.
love how Johnny Depp's character gets sunlight touches him and it sets him on fire. It's like
Hmm.
he's burning.
Yeah.
They throw
Yeah.
water on him. They throw mop water on him.
Do you remember the scene where he and whatever the hell her name is, Vicky, Maggie, whatever.
Noah Heathcote, yeah,
Yeah, they're on the beach by the rocks and they're reading Love Story,
yeah,
and he has a hat on and sunglasses. I
yeah.
thought to myself, he looks like Michael Jackson.
uh,
I said, what the hell?
I th- Again, I think some of this movie is copying House a bit, copying House of Dark Shadows, and it's like, okay, I get what you're going for. It's like, but really, do you really need to rehash that here? I mean,
Hmm.
I just feel they're doing things for the sake of the fans at times,
Yeah.
and it's like, look, I appreciate fan service. Not I appreciate fan service when your movie is good. You don't have to appease me by doing every little thing. Just tell me a great story here, and
Right, right.
I will be. I'll sing at your next wedding. You know.
Yeah, right, right. Yeah,
um,
this wasn't a great story at
no,
all.
it's not. It's weird because Seth Graham Smith, the guy who wrote this, he wrote a good vampire movie, a very fun vampire movie with Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. It was that was after Dark Shadows.
Hmm.
Um, it's really again, it's like he learned what not to do in this movie, and then in the next movie, vampire movie he does a lot better. But um, though he uses Abraham Lincoln as a vampire hunter, which is okay.
Well, that's interesting.
It's like okay, whatever.
Hmm.
Ah, oh my god. What's your favorite scene in this movie? You got one?
Oh yeah, probably any scene with Eva Green. I
Yeah.
like I like I like the defying gravity sex scene. I like when she
Yeah.
walks into the party in the red dress.
Yeah.
I like when she first comes and sees him at
Yeah.
Collinwood and they're in that parlor and she's telling him, "Oh, we did it there, we did it here, we did it here." You know,
Yeah.
I thought she was saucy and sassy and I liked her. I enjoyed her very much. She to me she gave probably her and Michelle Pfeiffer gave the best performances in the film.
Yeah. I think they did a great job. I'm with you. My favorite. I do have a favorite. I do have a couple. I love the hippie scene where Barnabas kills the hippie. That's hilarious to me. That, and I really love it when Angelique learns that Barnabas is back as they're
Yep.
walking through the cannery, and she's like, she's all business, and then they're
Yes.
like, "Hey, they found this," and she goes, "Where now?"
Right, right, right. Because they
she's
were excavating something.
yeah, they were. She's all serious. Then she goes and sees Barnabas.
Right.
Um, that I like. So her introduction into the present was really good. Um, again, Evergreen does a great job. Michelle Pfeiffer's when Michelle when sorry Dr. Hoffman confronts Elizabeth about him being a vampire, and she's like, "Well, I thought as a doctor you would be fascinated by." I love how she plays her.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Does a really good job doing it. Those are some of my favorite scenes, and obviously Willie Loomis in this movie is Jack Earl Haley's funny as hell. But
Mhm.
yeah, what do you scale 1 to 10? What do you give this?
With everything,
Yeah,
considering everything,
yeah,
probably a 5.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
5.
I I think for the sets alone, deserve a this movie does deserve a 5 for a lot of the things. I agree with you.
Yeah.
There are things that aren't bad about it, but it's just, I sort of wish we would have got a 1795 movie instead of just why not do, to me it should have been like this. There should have been the poster of this should have looked like a wedding invitation. You're cordially invited to the wedding of Barnabas Collins and Josette Dupre.
Mhm.
And that should have been sort of your tease of this movie.
Right, right.
Um,
That would have been cool.
but we didn't get that, unfortunately.
No.
Um,
In fact, there was oh wait, no, there was a Josette, right? Did they speak? Yeah, yeah.
yeah, there was a Josette.
Yeah, there was in the movie.
There was a
I didn't
Josette.
think either, so
Well, she's not in this movie other than as a ghost. She's in this movie, and as a briefly as a person when she's alive.
yeah.
Um, I think the biggest issue I have with this movie too, with where you got to deduct it, is like, how do you take the character? And I know you didn't like the character, but you take one of your main characters, and you have her disappear for the majority.
Right, right. That doesn't make sense.
I just, to me, that's bad writing. That's
Right,
that's lazy.
right.
Um, I think there's something you could have did there from a creative standpoint. But is there anything you want to add before we go?
No, I'm just thinking maybe they did that because the character of Josette is boring. I mean, I thought so in the series, and I think so now.
Yeah, I think as a character, when Angelique puts her underneath the spell, they should have
Then she
had.
becomes interesting.
To me, they should have had where Angelique's powerful enough, she finds a way to fuse Josette's ghost with her body, forcing her to go toward Widow's Hill.
Yeah.
I mean, because Angelique seemed like a powerful witch in this movie.
Right.
They don't do that. They don't show that. But I
No.
mean, my apologies for the nitpicking. But to those who are
Oh, that's
getting
okay.
no, to those who are going to get offended, I know
Oh, well,
people are
that's
gonna,
okay. They'll
they're
get
going to
over
get
it.
there are people who get
It's
mad.
a fictional story with fictional
Yes.
characters.
Listen, as a person who likes certain bad, because not everybody likes Halloween Resurrection. I
Hmm.
do. It's not considered a great movie. And it probably shouldn't be in a sense, but it's a fun movie.
Hmm.
Um, Again, I like cheesy horror movies. So,
Yeah.
um, oh my gosh. Um, Let me see here. Let me see what I got coming up. Let's see. Would you like to come? Let's see. Would you like to come back the 14th on a Friday?
Sure. March 14th. Yeah.
Yes, March 14th on a Friday.
Okay. What are we gonna talk about?
Let's see. We discussed the movies.
Yeah.
Let's let's see. Let's pick an episode. You pick an episode, and we'll discuss it.
Okay. I have to think about it now.
Okay. Yeah. First of all, Chloe Thomas does a really good job with songs and memes. Go check those out. They're really fun. Really good job, by the way.
Thank you.
Um,
What are you laughing at?
I just like the songs you play with Angelique and Barnabas because some of them are love songs, and I'm like, now that's funny. Like that's timing. That's like, and then like, where was this in the movie? Um, but
Did you see
yeah,
my most recent post with Barnabas holding the book? Did you see it?
yes, yeah.
Oprah's book club.
Oh my god, yes, that's so good. Oh my god, you do. You, if you could make one where Barnabas is holding Angelique, and
Uh-huh.
or holding Josette and he drops her for Angelique or something, that would be funny. No,
You
I
gave me
don't
an
know.
idea now.
Yeah, I'm a bad influence.
Oh, it's okay.
First of all, Chloe, thank you so much for your time.
Of
Um,
course.
have a great weekend, and I'll see you on the 14th.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.